Friends, welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to learn about the difference between the central sector scheme and centrally sponsored scheme. But before understanding these two terms, we have to understand about the 7th schedule of our constitution. 7th schedule of our constitution divides the power between the central government and the state government. There are three lists in the 7th schedule. One is the union, second one state list, and third one is the concurrent list. In the union list, there are 97 subjects, and the 7 subjects enumerated in the union list, the central government has the power to make laws and to implement these laws. Whereas in the state list, there are 66 subjects. The state government has the power to make laws on these subjects and to implement these laws. But if union government want to make laws on the state list, it doesn't mean that the union government can't make laws in these subject. Union government can also make laws in these subject, but basically the implementation part falls on the state list. So this is a basic difference between the union list and the state lists. Now come to the concurrent list. There are 47 subjects in the concurrent list. In the concurrent list, both the central government and the state government has the power to make laws on these subjects. So this is a basic idea about the 7th schedule. Now let us understand the central sector scheme. When government says that this scheme is central sector scheme, it means that 100% funding to the scheme will be provided by the central government. And the implementation part of the scheme is also falls on the central government. It means that in such types of scheme, the financial burden do not shift to the state government. All the expenses related to the scheme will be borne by the central government, and the implementation of the scheme is also done by the central government. The subjects, the central sector scheme are mainly formulated on the subject from the union list. As I have told you earlier, in the union list, the subjects enumerated in the union list, the central government has the power to make laws on these subjects and to implement those laws. That's why 100% funding is provided by the central government. As per the 2021 budget, there are almost 704 central sector schemes. If I talk about the example of the central sector scheme, so Namami Gange mission was launched by the central government. It was the central sector scheme, and the 100% funding is provided by the central government, means Modi government, and the implementation of the scheme is also done by the central government. So this is about the central sector scheme. Now come to the centrally sponsored scheme. Like the central sector scheme, centrally sponsored scheme is also launched by the central government. But there is a financial participation both by the center and the state. In such type of scheme, the financial burden is shared both by the central government and the state government. The ratio of the participation may vary from scheme to scheme. It would be in the ratio of the 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, 70-25 and 90-10. The central sponsored schemes are mainly formulated on the subjects of the state lists. That's why the implementation part of the such type of scheme falls on the state government's ambit. So this is a basic difference between the central sector scheme and centrally sponsored scheme. Let me precise it. So in the central sector scheme, the scheme will be launched by the central government. 100% funding will be done by the central government, and implementation part also falls on the central government. And the list, it the subjects is from the mainly union list, whereas in the centrally sponsored scheme, the scheme is launched by the central government. Financial burden is shared both by the center and the state government, and the scheme would be from the state list mainly. The scheme would be mainly from the state list. The example of the centrally sponsored scheme is the Manrega or Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana was launched by the central government. It was the centrally sponsored scheme in which financial burden shared both by the center and the state in the ratio of the 60:40. But implementation part falls on the state government. So this is the basic difference about the central sector scheme and the centrally sponsored scheme. I hope all the doubt with regard to these terms now have clear. Thanks for watching this video.